Alright guys, let's get to it. My queer dreams. Let me log into my app where I save all this and hope it doesn't kick me off the podcast. Alright, what's my actual password? Oh my gosh. Stop asking me for backups. Alright, let's call this one I don't know, McDonald's church. So this was confusing. So basically it says, I had some dream related to an auction it was either online or in person, which I don't know. I might have had 3 dreams last night. I don't really remember. So that was one dream that I can't really remember. The second one I wrote down, because I've been waking up. I woke up and wrote down that, and then I went back to sleep, and then woke up and wrote down this next one, that I had, I was with my friend in Vegas, and we had a hotel. There were all these beds in there, some queen beds in one side, and there were like 2 sides. I guess there was like a door between them, and one had like 3 twin beds, and I got there first, and I had put my belongings on multiple beds as I was unpacking. And sometime during the dream I was getting hungry, so I got a menu that was in the room. If you've been to Vegas, you know how sometimes they have those menus in the rooms in the casino hotels, but I didn't know if I could actually order from the menu because I remember being at a hotel once and they told me like my card has to be on file or something, which it wasn't, and I'd have to come downstairs and like put it on file or something, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, I might as well just go to the freaking restaurant, get dressed and go to the restaurant and order takeout anyways, if I was gonna have to get dressed anyways, because I was trying to avoid like taking a shower, getting dressed. So in the dream it was kind of like the same scenario. So I didn't know if I could order, and so I was gonna call, but I just wasn't sure. My friend's leftovers, they had some spaghetti that was in something that I had originally thought was a fridge, but noticed it was like a cabinet, so I was like, I don't think I'm gonna eat this. And so I just eventually got up and left and went to go find food. And there was a part that I wasn't sure if it was the same dream as the previous one. I was walking around. I was outside in an area that looked like an amphitheater to go see Hillsong, or go to Hillsong Church. Because when I was awake, because I kept waking up, I was watching some random video about like how Justin Bieber used to go to like Hillsong Church or something, and how that pastor went all crazy or something, and started being bad, and how he was kind of like the end of that church. It seems like it was a good thing, turned into some mega massive thing, and then became bad. So I was like listening to that and like falling asleep. So I think it got into my dream. And I had my jacket and saved the seat for myself and potentially my friend, and I was early, and there was one of the main famous pastors kind of seated in the chairs. I was listening to him talking to some celebrities, and I remembered I wanted to eat. So I got up, and someone was taking my seat since the seats were like filling in. So I was like, let me make sure my jacket's like fully on the chair, because people already took the seat before. So I was like, if I'm gonna stand up, let me just put my jacket properly so people can like see it and not like move my stuff. And so there were some ushers in the lobby, and they were giving out free snacks, but they were walking super fast, so they passed me, so I didn't see them. And then another usher was selling kind of like heavier snacks that would have been more satisfying to eat, but they wouldn't be sold until like halftime or like the end of the service or something. So I went back near my seat and I asked a group of like 3 or 4 people that were sitting near when the service would start. And there was this one guy who was kind of like, there were others trying to be friendly and like talk, and the one guy was like talking so much, and he was talking over the others, so I couldn't really hear. And it was about 2:40 p.m. on my watch, so I assumed the service was probably going to start closer to 3 p.m. And the loud guy kept basically trying to preach his testimony at me about his life and how he found God, and I was getting really annoyed, so I just kind of shook their hands really quick and just like left while he was still talking. I was like, this is rude, but I don't really care. Like, this guy's just like way overdoing it. So I just kind of like did what I had to do, and I saw there was this McDonald's kind of at the back. Now that I think of it, it looks like the area of the In-N-Out that I go to a lot. So I went, and I thought it was going to be really crowded, but it wasn't. And when I was going to order, I noticed my wallet was at the hotel, and I mentioned it out loud, and the cashier, who looked like Jason Weaver, he charged, I just got a regular hamburger, he charged it to his card. And while my food was coming out, I was talking to one of the cashiers, and there was also this like mask presenting like black queer lady who came up and started like chatting with me too, and we were just like chatting, and I kind of sat next to her at a table, and we were all kind of like having this like casual conversation. I was like, maybe they're from the church, maybe they're just random people, but they kind of like included me. We were kind of sitting at like kind of like bar stools, kind of like those little stools that they have at some of the In-N-Outs, kind of like that. And we were, just the color scheme was like McDonald's, and we were kind of like waiting. Some of them were kind of eating, some of them were kind of talking. And one person was talking about how they don't like to go out and do anything at all, and they prefer to always stay home. And this was the the mask presenting lady. And I was like, because the way they were talking was like, oh, we're gonna all like kind of stay in touch and like interact. And then when I heard her saying, oh, I'm a homebody, I don't like to go out ever, I was like, oh, that sounds so boring. So I was like, I don't want to talk to her anymore, because I don't like getting involved with people who just don't like doing anything. But that was actually what I was listening to in real life. The YouTube video had switched into this other panel of these people talking, and the lady was saying that it was like some church panel or something when I woke up to it, actually, and they were saying that. I rewound it like a little bit, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly the end of the dream of what was being spoken was actually what was happening in the actual video that I left on my phone. But it was a second video now. So I thought it sounded boring, so I offered to split somewhere along the lines, I offered to split like half the burger with the cashier who bought it for me. And when I woke up, in real life, my phone was actually playing the conversation where someone on a panel was saying something similar, like almost word for word about like that, like the conversation, but it was different people saying different sentences, like somebody saying like, oh, like some comment about like skiing or something like that, so like not liking to go skiing because they don't want to be cold, or like something like that. And like all that kind of came up in my dream, so that was kind of funny. But yeah, So that was it. That's the McDonald's church episode for my queer dreams. And that's it for now.